racist comment. This is bigger than Watergate.
Yeah.
This makes Watergate look like a parking ticket. We don't need to move forward. We have to move backwards. There was this other tidbit. Cabinet members believe the president could not be relied on to respond to a crisis at night.
Yep.
That means when Biden was president, he was pure 25th Amendment material. How do we know this? We found out on May 15th, 2025, a year or two, maybe longer after the fact. So this book isn't telling on Joe. Joe's pathetic and sad. It's telling on itself. You know, when does information become so urgent that you don't save it for your stupid book? If this were Trump, if any of this information were about Trump, they wouldn't have saved it for a book because remember, while this was happening, Trump wasn't even president. And they were saying he was an existential risk. He was a threat to democracy. While they were saying Trump was a threat to democracy, they had an incapacitated president that they were covering up for. It's insane. This story is so big that I believe the books are designed to kind of let the air out of it and just like, let's get past this. We can't let them do this. We can't. This is a huge deal. Yep. We were lied to. Look, did you hear about, they were doing fake cocktail parties for Kamala Harris? And get this, because they were worried that she couldn't handle a cocktail party because she drank. We talked about her being drunk all the time. They were doing these dry runs because they thought she was an alcoholic. And if we made those jokes, oh my God, she's brilliant and poetic. Oh, how do you say she's so accomplished? No, she's wasted. Look at her when she talks.
The cover-up would be one thing, but they failed to cover what we all saw. And but for Fox News, we would never have seen people crossing the border the way we did. We would never have seen Joe and heard Joe Biden. I'm so sick of hearing, had he not run, Kamala would have had more time. She didn't lose folks because of racism and sexism. She lost because of eyesight and hearing. She had a different kind of cognitive challenge where she never stepped up into that role. If you see the president of the United States is not being able to perform, if you yourself as his number two don't have confidence in his competence, you are duty bound constitutionally and practically and politically to step in. And because she didn't work hard, they had no faith in that. By the way, I'm a little tired of hearing about his physical problems. That is not the problem here, folks. Right. They stood at podiums. Yep. We don't know what was going on underneath the podium. I don't care. It's the cognitive decline. It is the mental capacity to not be able to do the job. I'm not letting any of them get away with it because they tried to ruin us. They tried to ruin our families. They spent more time on my kids than Hunter friggin' Biden.
Lock them up.
And I'm not, I'm not forgiving any of them.
What about the pardons?
The 25th Amendment, you mentioned it. Greg, I read it again today. I paid a lot of money for that law degree. I'm going to use it once in a while, damn it. I read it again today. It clearly should have been invoked by people who were responsible enough in that party. And I have one last question. Why would you even want a job you can't handle? Why does your family want you in that job? Look at Trump. He doesn't need that job. He took that job because he believes in this country and the people believed in him. But I would say that, the folks who have covered this up and the journalists who looked for Russia collusion for 3 years. How many times would I ask about Russia collusion? They looked for something that wasn't there. They saw something that was there and lied to us about it. Don't let them off the hook.
Yeah, Harold. In your face.